Welcome to the DARE podcast, where it is all about helping people overcome anxiety and panic attacks. The DARE app has over 1 million downloads and is free to download at dareresponse.com. Now, without further ado, here is the DARE podcast.
Cool. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's start. Let me scroll back here. When I experience morning anxiety, is it better to lie in bed until I calm down or get up and move around? Submitted by Adam.
Adam, get up. Definitely get up. Don't do that to yourself. It's the worst thing that you can do, because what can you expect from your mind when you are anxious and just woke up? Maybe you have dreamt all night, you're already sensitized, your stress system has been firing even though you did not notice it. And you have the cortisol awakening response, meaning you feel like this and you're on edge. So your brain's not going to go like, good morning, this is going to be a wonderful day, you're going to be anxiety free. So it's better not to lie there and let your mind run wild and scare you to death. Get up, take a cold shower, and get your day started.
Yeah. And remember, the overall mindset approach here is that the presence or absence of anxiety is not the problem and is not the focus. So if anxiety shows up in the morning, you do whatever you were going to do anyway. If it didn't show up, if you're trying to calm down, then anxiety is still your topic of your identified problem. The presence of the feeling is not the identified problem. This was exactly in my post today. If you guys saw it, there's a woman with a whole bunch of faces. I know that sounds creepy, but it was like how you feel and how you treat how you feel. If you wake up and feel good and you go about your day, then you're no longer treating that feeling as a threat. If you wake up and you feel a certain feeling and then you stay involved in it and you're trying to do something about it, that is actually the problem. Those are anxiety behavior problems. It's a behavior problem that's pinned to the feeling of anxiety. And so if you wake up in the morning and you find you like how you feel, you're comfortable, thoughts are going through your head, you're relaxed, you have some time, great. If you're staying in bed to try and stay alive or try and beat this or try and calm down, that's the wrong approach. So get up and carry on. Bring the feelings along with you. Because remember, the goal is unimportance, not for them to be gone. All right, next question. Aida, this one's specifically for you. Aida, how does hypnotherapy work and play into the DARE response? Submitted by Mike.
Great question, Mike. So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I love hypnotherapy for many reasons. It's absolutely fantastic for some form of trauma therapy. It is fantastic to strengthen skills and to change some beliefs, core beliefs, definitely. I do not, as much as I love it, I do not use it for anxiety disorders. And the reason for that is that the maintaining factors of an anxiety disorder are in the here and now and not in the past. And regressive hypnotherapy, the idea behind it is that something has caused you trauma and you are experiencing effects from that trauma still today. So if you go back to the trauma, age regression, and you heal the trauma, that you will feel better in the here and now, which makes sense in some cases, but not with anxiety. If you are interested in hypnotherapy, and I still utilize it, but not in a traditional way, what you can do is use hypnotherapy, guided imagery, visualizations in order to trigger the DARE steps. Again, the intention is so important. If you do this to help you get into a state of allowance and flow with everything, then yes, it's an absolutely fantastic tool. And I would say that a lot of my recovery process was because I used visualizations and guided imagery. But as you see, I'm very sorry, it's not in the classical sense, like, oh yeah, do that, and then your anxiety is fixed after 3 sessions. It's not how it works. A lot of people try it. There are a lot of promises that say, no, this will fix it because it's a different tool. It's not talk therapy. It's not CBT, right? It's not cognitive. It's visual and emotional, but it's still the same mechanism.
Would you say you can use it for to help with your willingness and how you treat a feeling of anxiety when it comes up, as opposed to, again, like another weapon to, did you try hypnotherapy? Did hypnotherapy work? Oh, well, I don't know. Let me check and see if anxiety is still there. No, it's still here. hypnotherapy didn't work, or let's dig deeper and let's try harder. Whatever you're using, unless it's used as a more of a gentle way to be more open about using this approach as opposed to getting rid of the feeling. So nothing that gets submitted in these questions, it's all kind of going to be answered the same way. But I thought that was a good question because they're all good things to do. They're great approaches that are often geared towards other specific things. But if you're using it to see, does this work for anxiety? It depends what you mean by work. Is this something that helps me be more gentle in my approach towards how I treat the presence of anxiety, as opposed to, did this get rid of my anxiety, sends a different message?
What's your goal? Right? You can ask yourself. That you did that the last time, so that's true. Yeah. So what is your goal, right? Do you want to get rid of anxiety? Don't do it, no matter what. If your goal is to change your attitude and your willingness to experience anxiety, then yes, absolutely. I would say the hypnotherapy is actually one of the best things that you can do. But the challenge is that you will rarely find somebody who is familiar with the DARE approach, acceptance and commitment therapy, is an expert in anxiety and a clinical hypnotherapist and utilizes it that way. So if you want to do it, use guided imagery, use the visualizations, and we have tons of these on our daily DARE meditations that follow the daily DARE, and in our online course that will come out.
All right, here we go. Next one up. I started my journey towards recovery a month ago, but I've been a smoker for the last 10 years. Is smoking a way of avoiding, or is this normal to still want to smoke? Submitted by Adam.
Have you ever smoked, Michelle?
I, believe it or not, I have never smoked one cigarette in my life.
She's a freaking saint.
One. Not one. Because I feel like I really would have liked it. I think. I don't know. I've always got my hands around here. Yeah, but I don't know. I never have.
Kind of suit you, that Guinness in one hand.
Yeah, right. It just seems natural. And anything about it becomes like a habituated response, right? It becomes habit. And so I don't know, it's kind of like an apples and oranges question, unless you are, why are you smoking? Again, if it's every time I feel anxious, I smoke a cigarette to calm down, or it becomes a natural response to like something I'm used to doing, like that becomes that conditioned response. Oh, something just came up. How do we get into the meeting? Says the host has another meeting in progress. Somebody just messaged me here. Oh. Sorry to interrupt that answer, but we're trying to figure out why there's only 4 people here.
Michelle, why don't you mute yourself? I'll respond to the question. So as Michelle said, Adam, it can be habit, and think about it this way. There are loads of people who don't have anxiety and still smoke and find it hard to let go of smoking. Right? It's bad habit. But yeah. And as Michelle said, if any time you feel anxiety come up and you feel like you want to calm down and then smoke a cigarette, that is very different than if you just smoke a cigarette because you feel like smoking a cigarette, or because you feel you have to smoke a cigarette, or because you just finished dinner, or you just had sex, or all these situations where people usually smoke cigarettes. Right? So your intention, again, is important here. By the way, guys, you will hear us say this in every webinar, in every one-to-one, in every group session. It's all about your intention. You can answer a lot of these questions for yourself if you ask yourself, what am I trying to get out of this? Am I diffusing? Let's just use the DARE steps as an example. Am I trying to master diffusion skills so I can in some way change the thoughts or their frequency or the content? Or am I practicing mastering diffusion because I want to be able to look at a thought and not fight it, but also not be impressed by it? There is a very, very big difference between those two. You see, in the first response, my intention was to manipulate the thing, not myself. And everything with DARE has to do with you, not that thing that is in front of you. That can be thoughts or feelings or whatever it is that you're fighting and resisting. Most people use all these therapeutic tools and skills to change that thing. Where is it? Look at that. Here's my anxiety guy. who likes him. Okay. So if he's here and I use the dare tools, so I can make him shut up or go away or leave me alone or whatever it is. If I'm doing that, then it's wrong. Okay. You must leave him alone. And you must say, oh, I'm using the dare tools to change my attitude. So rather than doing this, I do this. Right? Now I've changed myself, not him. That goes for all things anxiety and all the dare steps, all the tools, all the visualizations and everything that we teach. Do you like him, Michelle?
I love him. He's cute.
Right?
He's adorable.
He's actually too cute.
See, we like him. We like the guy. That's why the little creature is supposed to be cute and loving. We just don't like the sound he makes. He's supposed to have an awful voice because the way he communicates with us is to put you into mode, do something right now. So we don't like his voice, but we like him. But he only screams at us to try and get us to do something. So there are apparently multiple people, many people trying to get into this meeting saying the host has another meeting in progress. I don't know if maybe people are accidentally sent a host link instead of a participant link. I don't know. The entire Dare Advanced is posting here. They're saying Zoom just keeps spinning. I don't know how 5 people got in, but for everybody saying host has another meeting in progress. Going to close Zoom. Everybody's gave up. I don't know.
We're so sorry, you guys.
Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened. We didn't do anything different.
I got in through the link in the app. And is that link any different from the link people got in the emails? Okay, Michelle, maybe I can answer another question.
Let's just keep going because we can't do anything about this right now.
Can you maybe post in Dare that they should use the link in the app? Another link,
but that would be email? All the Facebook pages. We're already halfway. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
And we'll pick up on the next one because at this point it's.
I have a question for
terrible
you.
About this.
I have a question for you.
For me? Is it about anxiety?
How did you know?
What?
Where was it? Although Dare helps to accept anxiety, would it be useful to understand the root cause of my anxiety to reduce the frequency of the attacks in quotation marks?
Yeah. So the first part of that would be sure. And the second part would be no. Because sure, it's helpful. It puts it into context to see like, oh yeah, I'm getting anxiety. Oh yes, that's right. I've been through, especially if it is related to trauma. Okay. If of course, oh, that makes sense. I did survive for many years of my life. I didn't feel safe a lot of times. This makes sense. I understand why I'm getting into this survival behavior mode because I got used to surviving through actual things. Or, right, I watched a family member die from a heart attack. And of course, now I have health anxiety and I'm checking my heart. And so that would make sense to kind of process that old stuff for the sake of processing and making peace with the old stuff. But just like the answer to the hypnotherapy question, let me go back and pull out everything that's happened in my life to see if could this be the reason for my anxiety? Let's talk about this for 3 years, and then we'll see if it helped my panic attacks. Oh shit, still having panic attacks at the grocery store. All right, that didn't work. Let's find something else that may have been the cause of this. And that's where we're going at it wrong. Go back and deal with the past to make peace with that. Yes, there may be a chance that, wow, if I spent my last 20 years fighting memories, I can now finally let go of the fight of memories. And I may notice my anxiety levels subside because now I no longer treat memories as present danger. I'm no longer in fight mode. If that's the approach you're taking for it, go for it. If you're taking the approach the same way you would, how about exercise? How about hypnotherapy? How about all these other skills? But if it's having so many panic attacks a day, let's try and go back and see what could be the cause of this. Why did I have that panic attack on the plane? What was the reason for it? That's kind of where we're getting stuck in the why. And it's really more important about the now what. If the why helps you adjust your now what, then go for it. But if you're just looking for a why to get rid of a present feeling, then you're going to get kind of frustrated and stuck.
And of course, there can be, in rare cases, it doesn't happen often, it can be like a physical thing, thyroid problems, another illness that you have, and a few behavioral things that might contribute to it. If you're hungover frequently, if you are like really, really bad with your nutrition and you don't drink any water, or just, I don't know, a glass of water a day, you don't sleep, if you don't have at least basic self-care in place, of course, this can contribute to it. But why does it contribute to it? And I think understanding this is so important. Look at your nervous system as another organ. Just because you can't see it, it's still a thing that is alive, and it does a lot of things, and it needs a lot of things. Imagine that I would have a wound on my hand, and I would part of my skin would be stripped off. So I would have a flesh wound, and even me doing would hurt, right? Because it's exposed. And when our nervous system is strained, it will give us really weird sensations. And what it needs then is a little bit of chill, a little bit of calm. And the biggest part of that is not adding fuel by resisting and fighting it. When you have that in place, then you can go about treating your nervous system kindly and doing the things that would help it desensitize, but not to get rid of anxiety, but to assist your nervous system to provide the perfect conditions for desensitization to happen, if that makes sense.
Right. And I posted this yesterday. You enter, like, if you're trying to allow, that's not allowing, because it doesn't involve trying. It's more like that rest and digest mode. That's kind of like the automatic go-to mode. Like, we were meant to just sort of live. Do you see these messages that are popping up here?
And Indy just wrote that we're on the wrong webinar. How is it possible?
I don't know. It's the same regular link. What if we log off and then let's
finish the question.
Okay. So like, our natural state is living, being, okay? Like, the whole goal is to go into doing mode for doable things. And when the doable things are done, we go back into rest and digest mode. Okay. Like, this is a thing that happens when you're no longer in doing mode. Okay. So it's letting go of doing mode. What happens is we get into doing mode, and then we're trying to do something to get ourselves back into being mode. It's the wrong path. That's not the route you take to get there. You just stop doing mode and you sort of like fall back into being mode. That's why it doesn't require checkboxes and lists. It just requires like kind of leaving yourself alone for like your body regulates itself. Self-regulation. There's all these great techniques and things out there for self-regulation, but we think that means us regulating ourselves by doing things. Self-regulation means your body was designed to regulate itself. You turn it on and it runs for a period of time, and then it turns itself off. We don't have to do anything to turn it off. It will turn itself off. But I wanted to mention one thing that happened to me on Monday. That kind of reminded me of this. I took a picture of it too, but I didn't get a chance to post it. I had an eye exam for the very first time on Monday. 45 years old, never had my eyes dilated before. And it really, it's saying all the songs of Dare, because, your eyes are designed to dilate and get bigger to let in more light. So when it gets darker, your eyes open up more. And when it gets lighter, your eyes constrict. Okay. So what happens when you go to get an eye exam, which apparently everybody in the world knows but me, because I'm the only one who hasn't been to one, you dilate your eyes and it lets in more light while the light is still there. So it's kind of like your body's doing the right thing, but at the wrong time. And so I didn't realize how sensitive my eyes, when I walked out, and the office was like, put your sunglasses. I walked outside and it was like, whoosh. It's because my pupils were doing the right thing, but at the wrong time. So letting in more light. And now I'm in this light sensitivity. Now my body is more sensitive to light because I'm in this state of pupil dilation. And over a period of time, I had to type to the Dare crew. I'm like, I can't see the words, but apparently I can't message anything for anybody for a while. And over a period of time, the sensitivity died down. That's how this whole process goes. But you have to give, no, I didn't get those foldy plastic sunglasses. They forgot. And I figured I'd just get to my car quickly. But boy, was that bright. And so sensitivity, our heightened sensitivity is actually the problem, not the thing that we're fighting. So it's as the heightened sensitivity starts to come back down, right? That's kind of the goal here. We start to feel better. And it's a matter of how our heightened sensitivity comes back down. And that's by taking probably the opposite behaviors and actions everybody's doing. Like I said on the last webinar 4.5 minutes ago, you don't try to allow. You enter back into your natural state of allowing and accepting when you stop fighting mode. Not, I go into fight mode and I have to do something to get back into rest and digest mode. You don't. You have to stop the doing and you sort of fall back into that mode. So I just wanted to mention that little story.
I've never had that done to you. Oh my God, now I know what to expect.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, but it was just shows how like, oh yeah, your pupils get bigger when it's darker and then smaller when it's lighter. And now they're bigger when it's lighter and whoosh, heightened sensitivity. And so this is when our alarm goes off and rings and dumps us with this do something energy when there's nothing present that's doable. So now we're in a heightened state and nothing, no place to put it.
Yeah. And I can share a very weird and kind of creepy story too. I'm missing my cat. So he's gone since a week.
Oh no.
And my heart is breaking. And like the whole day we are looking for him, doing all the things that you do. So my mom gave me a wonderful intrusive thought that is now stuck in my head.
No.
She was like, I even checked the freezer. And I was like, Mom,
the freezer.
I was like, Mom,
the hell you do with those cats in Germany? Put your cats in the freezer?
And I was like, Mom, why would you look in there? And she was like, I don't know. I was so paranoid and so afraid. And I just hoped I wouldn't find him in there. Can you imagine that picture that went through my head? And now every day when I lay in bed trying to sleep, thinking of Jamie, I have this picture, right? This is the definition of an intrusive thought. It's horrible, you guys. But it's just a thought. It has nothing to do with reality, right? It's a horrible situation. And of course, my alarm is ringing, right? This guy's like, what if he's in the freezer? What if somebody took him? What if he's there and there and there? I have so many thoughts running through my head and there's so much sadness, but I have to keep calm. And I practice there, as you all do, by saying, well, yeah, might be true. I just let them be there, let them pass by, right? And trust that I will find him again.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Thank you guys. Thank you for all your sympathy.
This is when we kind of get stuck in uncertainty. I don't know. And so now you're left trying to do a lot of things until you know. And so while we're waiting for certainty, it's how we act in the midst of uncertainty.
Yeah. Okay, next question, you guys.
That's right. So I have.
Did you want to try to bring someone in again?
All right, let's try.
So
listen, everybody. If you put your hand up and you come in on our webinar, the recording will be posted on the Dare app, which has like 1 million downloads. So as long as you are okay with that, then I'll bring you in. And if not, put your hand down. I don't even know if this is going to work. We're going to try it. So I see Claire here has their hand up. Let's see if we can bring. Oh my God, it's a video. Yes, that'll work. Oh gosh, put your clothes on, guys. I don't know, Claire, if this is actually you on the bed, you're going to want to do something about that.
Oh, I can't see you or the picture. That's just my random
okay.
picture.
I'm like, Claire needs to sit up or not sit up.
What do you do at 11 a.m.? It's much more interesting than what we do here.
I can't see my picture. I can just hear me talking and I can see you two on screen, but you can't see my actual webcam. Yeah. There's not an option for me to turn on.
It's not an option to come in on video, really?
No.
Oh, okay. Or maybe, Michelle, can you check if you press the 3 buttons on her video, if maybe you need to
no, I think it might be because I can see the still shot that you have frozen there. So it looks like whatever you have up would let me see it, but no, chat, hide non-participant videos or remove. So.
Oh, apparently no one else can see me either.
No,
I'm anonymous.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then nobody else. Okay, nobody else can see you. Thanks, guys, for helping us.
But can you guys hear her? Because that would be important. Can you guys hear Claire?
Okay, good.
Fantastic. Okay, so Claire, welcome. This is our very first time that we brought someone in live on the webinar, and we never knew this was possible.
We don't know what the hell's going on today.
Hey, I'm excited.
Great. Do you have a specific question for us, Claire? Or would you like to share a success or anything, really?
Yeah, this is my first time on the webinar. So I get a couple of questions, really. The main one is I've got obviously the high anxiety and stuff, and I've also got chronic pain, which I'm kind of seeing the similar approaches in both. And the chronic pain is quite fierce. It's in like all of my torso and my neck, sometimes in my head, and the sensation sometimes of pain is about 10. So they're quite intense, and there's always a level of discomfort. But now I'm kind of seeing and looking back at my life and thinking, oh my God, I've just had really bad anxiety. And then anxiety and chronic pain are sort of created the same way. Chronic pain is created by fear of the sensations and stuff. Right. So I guess it's like, how do I deal with that? And maybe has anyone else had success with DARE with chronic pain too? I feel like, and I'm sure you get this on everything. Mine feels really different. Mine's different. Yeah, mine's really severe.
Anxiety. Yeah. Claire, did you submit a question? Because I'm trying to scroll through here. That sounds exact. Oh no, this was somebody else. I have physical pain. Just to let you know, it's not just you. I just assumed this was you, but it's somebody named Luke. I have physical pain in my head, neck, and shoulders. How is it possible to dare such physical pain? I'm convinced it's anxiety, as I have other sensations that I have had before, but this is new. My body is full of this tension that won't leave. Headaches now for 2 months. So I knew we had a pain question come in. And so, yeah, so it's not just you. Pain. And, I know we had Curable as one of our master classes a couple of months ago. And Barry has some audios on Curable, because even though it seems like the fight of a different thing, 90% of our calls, we're talking about anxiety. The loop of the fight of pain is what's keeping the heightened focus on the fear of pain. Once you start pain is an alert system, right? Hunger is an alert system. Tiredness is an alert system. And what happens is we start fighting our alert systems. Pain and fear are our top 2 alert systems, because they're designed to be the most uncomfortable, so you can attend to the danger that the pain is alerting you to, and the danger that the fear is alerting you to. The problem is when this thing is missing, we just get alerted to pain. We get alerted to fear. And so now it's the fear. It's the fear of pain. It's the loop. There's a question here about fatigue, chronic fatigue. It's the same thing. I have this feeling of tired, and now I'm just treat the feeling of tired as a threat, this feeling of whatever the feeling is controlling my life. If I could just get rid of this feeling, I can get back into life. Do you see how, do you see how how you've been treating and approaching pain is similar to how you've been treating and approaching anxiety?
Oh yeah, totally. I'm just like, it's the same. I'm doing the same thing. So no wonder I got chronic pain, because I was doing anxiety so well. So I guess I patterned that in. But sometimes, and I'm sure you probably get this a lot, but it feels like so much. And I have like fatigue symptoms, and it moves as well. Like just when I get comfortable, like originally it was in my right ribs, and I got to the point where I'm like, I don't care anymore, that's fine, you do what you need to do. And then the spasms start in my neck and my head, and I've had this dizziness, and then this fatigue, and then I don't know, I just feel so weird in my body all of the time. And I guess it's accepting that is how I feel at the moment, and learning to be okay with it. And I am practicing, but it seems like the anxiety's gone up more. And but I don't know if that was because I'm actually paying attention rather than disassociating and pretending it's not really there.
Oh, that is a great point you're making, Claire. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. As long as you avoid anxiety, as long as you try to escape it, it often seems like, oh, it's there, but it's kind of like lurking in the background. And as soon as they start there, many people say it has gotten more severe because of it. No, it's not gotten more severe, but now you're facing it. You're facing it. So of course it's at the center of your attention and you can't help but not notice it. This is why often it feels bigger. It's almost like you have been, this guy, right, was behind the door knocking on your door constantly, and you were leaning against the door saying, oh no, oh my God, can't let you in. And then you let him in, and then you're like, oh my God, you are real, and you look like this, and this is horrible, this is awful, until you kind of get used to it and have the experience that it is not as horrible as it first seemed to be.
It feels pretty horrible.
It's supposed to feel horrible, because if the feeling of fear didn't feel urgent and awful and jolt you into action, you wouldn't be so inclined to fight danger. Right. Exactly. You would be like, we would like, oh, this fire feels great. Oh my God, just so relaxed when this animal starts eating my legs off. That's weird. And it's not productive for survival. Like, we were designed to survive. We weren't designed to feel good. We were designed for survival of our species. Okay. So, Barry's here watching. So I see, Barry, I see you're here. You want to join us? You can come on in. We kind of figured it out. And so again, it's me trying to get rid of pain, and pain gets noticed as the threat. And so whatever, and of course, you're not getting rid of all the stuff that feels good. Your alarm has now been set to everything that feels shit. It's going to clearly magnify you, whatever shit you find. Okay. So that you can then, this is the problem, keep doing something about the thing that you don't like. So, oh, I'm so tired. Chronic fatigue. Here's fatigue. I better now focus and do something about fatigue. Oh my gosh, there's pain. Forget fatigue, off to pain. And if you're constantly it's the attending to discomfort, the involvement in, and you can replace, like, add whatever words you want to that little black blob of discomfort, whatever it is for you at that moment. And that's why, like, lately I've been saying it's getting better at feeling bad, rather than trying to not feel bad so I can be better. I know sometimes I sound like I play with words, but that's kind of an important mindset to take there.
That makes sense. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. And keep in mind, Claire, you said it's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. Okay. There is no comma, but it is horrible. It is hard. It is exhausting. Yes, period. And here comes my butt.
I hear it. It's coming.
If you remind yourself that what you're experiencing at the moment is healing pain, it makes it a tiny bit easier to face it. Right? Because if there is pain and suffering in the world that is pointless, right? That is really hard. And then for sure, you're afraid that this will stay forever. And what's the meaning of this? Why is this happening to me? All of these things. But facing anxiety and dealing with your chronic pain the way that you're doing and that you're learning at the moment is a healing pain. You're growing through this. And it's same when you break a bone and it heals in that cast, it's gonna hurt, but it's hurting because it's growing back together. And this is how it is with anxiety too. I know it's hard to see when you're in it because it can be overwhelmingly hard, but it will not always be this overwhelming. It will not.
Okay, that helps. I guess the other thing, it feels like relentless. It's like this constant kind of thing. And because my life has got very small with the chronic pain, I realize I don't actually have that many distractions. And I think because I'm tired and exhausted, like, it's been 9 years of this. And it's like chronic pain and then anxiety ever since I was like a little, as I can remember. But I think I'm tired, so I don't particularly feel like I want to do anything. And it's like how I'm getting better at developing the skill. But when I'm tired as well, that's when my edge comes up and I get upset and I get a bit like, and then so how is the best way to manage that when I'm tired in myself?
You accept that too, and you try to replenish in some way. Right? That feels different for anybody, but try to put one foot in front of the other and say, today, what can I do today to restore my energy level, to not focus so much on fixing this, because the exhaustion part is often So one part of it is living with it, definitely. But the biggest part of the exhaustion comes from the fight. Right? If you imagine your mind is like a plate, and if you fill that 80% of it with how can I fix this? How can I rid of this? Where is the cure for that? Let me read this. Let me talk to that person. A lot of energy goes there, but your life still keeps on demanding everything. Your life is not like, oh, I see that you are in pain. You know what? Let me leave you alone. It doesn't happen. You still have a life to live. And this is where the exhaustion comes from. And that moment when you truly understand that there is nothing to fix, but it's a rather a be approach than a do approach, you will have much more energy available in time. Right? It will fill up and regenerate by itself. The less you do, the less you try to fight and resist and fix something.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. That helps to give me a bit of hope. Yeah, I'm really good at fighting. I would like to be really good at being.
We're all very good at doing. Like but it's funny because we're doing the wrong things, right? We're doing, but our doing is hooked to the wrong stuff. So like if you're trying to do a lot of stuff about tired, and I'm just going to read this other question here because it ties exactly into that. I feel exhausted most of the time and wonder if this is usual and how to deal with it. You guys see the words? I find it a challenge to do anything, submitted by Gail. And so if I have to, here's this feeling, I have to do something about pain. What should I do to alleviate pain? What do I do? Somebody posted, Joanne, how do you dare the depression one day and the anxiety the next day and then the next day depression? You're not using dare to do something about the thing. You're using dare to let go of the fight of how you're treating the thing. Here, guys, this is my post today. Look for that picture of the woman with no face with all the little faces around it on the dare pages. It's that. Here's the presence of this feeling. I don't get to choose that part. How am I treating it? What is my relationship with pain? What is my relationship with fatigue? What is my relationship with anxiety? Because it's a relationship you kind of have to mend, not the presence or absence of it. Because if it's like, oh yeah, I get along great with anxiety when he's not here, and then he comes along and then I'm like, oh shit, that guy is back. Then you've never like changed how you treated this feeling. And so I know we're just speaking to you, but we're actually kind of answering a whole lot of questions all in here. You don't dare the depression. I woke up and I noticed I have the presence of sad right now. And now my actions and behaviors determine how much involved I get and stay here, right? Got attention drawn to it. And now how long do I stay here? Here is tired. Okay, so now what? What happens is when we don't have a whole lot that we have to do, we start checking and say, well, what do I feel like doing? Well, do I feel like doing this? Let's check in. Let's see what my feelings say. They say I'm too tired. I can't do anything. So I'm just not going to do anything in life because I'm just too tired. And then tired starts to run the show. Anxiety starts to run the show. Sad starts to run the show. You can kind of replace the method and approach with all of this because it's how I treat that feeling. And so overall wellness routine and just overall routine helps to say, yeah, I am really tired, but I'm kind of only going to spend a few seconds with my head behind the curtains, checking all these feelings. Yep. Oh yeah, I'm really tired. I sure am. Yep. 3 o'clock. Okay. It's time to do whatever it is I decided to do. And I'm bringing tired with me, but in like a gentle but firm way. Like, oh yeah, it's okay that it's here, but we're still going here anyway, while I'm tired without, everything's a chore to get through tired. And this was so hard. Then do you see the difference in the mindset shift? And not just what I'm doing, but how I'm doing it. Guys, that's the approach. That's like gentle with how you feel, but firm with what you decide to do.
Don't trust your feelings. You cannot trust your gut. Forget that quote. Trust your gut, go by your feelings. No, don't do that. Your feelings are deceiving you. Your mind too. Look, yesterday, the last thing I wanted to do was go to the gym. I checked in with my body and my body said, you are so tired. You are still sore from the last workout. And actually you should do this and that. That will be too much today. So everything said, don't go. I went anyway and had a wonderful session. Now I'm talking working out, right? And I felt much better afterwards, by the way. But it's not about what you do. Don't listen to your gut and to your feelings, because they're very much colored by circumstances. And never have high expectations of yourself when you're going through a period of high sensitization. Everything feels doomy, everything feels gloomy, everything feels dangerous, you're not up for anything. Yes, you will not be able to connect with your loved ones the same way that when you're not sensitized. The walks won't be as nice, the sun won't shine as bright. Yes, yes, yes. Everything feels just more intense and usually more negative than it really is. And this is the time to not trust your feelings. Okay. This is the time to stick to your values, not to ask, how do I feel today, to do that, but what would I do? What is important? And what do I need to do? I need to go to work. I still need to take care of the kids and the cats.
Right.
And
check the freezer.
Oh. Anyway, you guys, you see, you do the thing that is sensible to do. What do I need to do today?
You notice feelings, you decide behaviors. You don't use feelings to decide your behaviors. Like, try and keep it simple like that. We get so over involved in that.
Yeah. And I love what how you put it, Michelle, that gentle but firm approach. I like to compare it with when you cross a very busy street with, let's say, a 4-year-old. You don't look at the 4-year-old and you're like, hey, honey, look, we're crossing that street right now. Okay, so we need to move quickly. You don't do that. You grab it by the hand and say, we are walking.
Let's go. We're walking now.
And you grab that hand firmly, right? Why? Because you are the leader, you are the boss. And this guy, he follows your lead, okay? Mm-hmm. He's not telling you, you are gonna die. It's always a what if boss? What if you have a heart attack, boss, right? And you are the one who get to say, well, then, I don't know, I will die. Let's go anyway. Right? And you place the problem with anxiety is when you mistake your anxious mind as the leader of your life. And when you mistake its warnings and questions as statements and as the truth. It's always, there's a reason why they are called what if questions, because it's always a question. And if somebody asks you something, that means that you can respond to that. Right. Okay.
That makes sense. And
Claire, sorry.
That was really interesting information. I was just, because it feels like it feels to me like a shift in identity. Like I've had this whole anxious identity for as long as I can remember, and I can sort of start to feel it crumbling and to like fade and shifting. I like toggle in and out between being at really peace and feeling okay and feeling love and all these things. And it's like, that feels strange too. So I feel strange in my body. It's like, I don't quite, it's weird. It's like, I don't know what I feel sometimes. Don't know if I'm hungry because there's so many weird sensations. It's like, is it then just a process of just learning to retrust my body and just feel weird and just trust?
Just feel weird.
Just feel weird.
Notice how you feel. And that's how the sentences are. I notice I feel blank right now, period. Like we decide that anxiety is our identity. I'm an anxious person. What? I am a person who experiences anxiety like everybody else. And so when you kind of like, your identity is who you are, it's not how you feel, because feelings are fluctuating. And so if you've been so used to always attending to anxiety, now finally this starts to fade and you're like, oh yeah, look at all these other things. I forgot about it. I'm not used to these feelings. Again, this is a getting used to process. We don't just fight the bad stuff. We just tend to fight fluctuation in general. Oh yeah, now I feel good. That's weird. Or now my head is actually quiet. Well, what's up with that? That makes me anxious because I'm not anxious. And then like, we just notice change, we notice fluctuation, and we notice things we're not used to. And so that's why, like, just leave yourself alone, let some time pass while you engage in life. And like, again, it's the role of what I'm treating as important and what I'm letting be.
Michelle, I have a question for you.
Yeah. Well, let me see if I can unlock, Claire, I'm going to,
thank you.
Take you off the thing, I think. If I can't, you might have to do it because I'm not very good at it on Instagram. But thank you so much for being our first.
Thank you.
Person
that was awesome. All the best to you.
Take care.
Take care. Bye, Claire.
Oh, I did it. Okay, good. Oh, look at this. We can do this. Is easier than the Zoom call.
Cool. Okay, Michelle, I have a great question. Let me see who posted that, because shout out to you. I loved it. seems funny when I read it, but I'm sure all of you have already thought that at least once in your life. I have, definitely.
I'm sorry. I just have to say, one of the questions that came in said, why can I not join the webinar right now? Sorry, we fixed it. We'll post it. We'll post the whole thing on the app.
So Liz, it's a fantastic question. What tips do you have for flying anxiety? I am afraid of being trapped in there without being able to get out. What if I freak out and try to open the door? I love this question because it's so funny that we would even think of opening the door where we would certainly die. We're trying to escape perceived danger only to kill ourselves. But it's funny, right? Because it's completely irrational, as anxiety is. So, Michelle, your take.
But this is exactly where anxiety lives. It's not in the thought. That's an interesting imaginative brain, because there's your little red guy, right? The red guy's like, he's ready to fight, but he showed up at the wrong time. He showed up a little bit too early. He's like super like excited to help you stay alive. So he's supposed to show up as soon as danger shows up. Danger, red guy. Danger, red guy. And now the red guy's like, oh my God, what if there's danger? What if you freak out? What if you freak out? Because what if you feel trapped and you feel like I'm assuming this is the rest of the words of this question, because this is such a common thing. I'm on the plane. I'm so anxious. Oh my gosh, what if I can't control my anxiety and it gets worse and I start freaking out? Remember that video, that woman on the plane, they like taped her to the seat. Oh my gosh, what if that's me? What if I freak out and I go crazy and I do something impulsive and I try and jump out of the plane? Oh my gosh, I don't want to jump out of the plane, but what if I do? And now I'm freaking out that I'm going to jump out of a plane that I don't want to jump out of, but then I kind of want to leave the plane, but I feel trapped. So I feel like I need to. Does this ring true for anybody, whether it's the car or the plane or a trapped situation?
That's exactly what I do to them.
And so now there, Elaine's like, yes. So here, present fear to jolt you into action, but there's nothing actionable yet. Okay. So it's like your alarm's just basically here, like, oh my gosh, what should we do? Well, I would absolutely fight for my life should the situation occur. But when it's not all in sync, you're missing the third important piece. Danger right now. You have fear right now and fight right now, but you also need danger right now for the three pillars to sort of line up. When danger right now is a thought of what if danger shows up, and we still fight and we still fight with present fear. Now we're in fighting mode for non-fightable things. And so it's not about this. This is what most people do. No, who said that? Liz?
Liz.
No, Liz. No, you're not going to jump out the plane. No, you're fine. It's okay. You're not going to go crazy. That other person was crazy. She was probably on drugs. You never took drugs. It's okay. You're not going to freak out. Okay, just calm down. Just put Barry in my ears. Oh my gosh, Barry. Barry sounds so good. Oh, why isn't he just pumped through the cabin of the plane? Oh my gosh, I still got to calm down. Okay. Oh, good. Just hang on. Don't jump out of the plane. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. This is not sending the message of I'm fine, because you're still trying to convince yourself you're fine. You can have thoughts of not being fine and still be fine, but you need to act like you're fine. If you are having thoughts of what if I open the door and jump out, any tips and advice? Yeah, leave all of that alone, right? So now I feel kind of that trapped feeling. I had a thought of what if I try and escape, and here's anxiety to help me fight. And now, do I now enter my fight behavior? Do I now enter into survival behaviors? Or do I look and say, oh, there's no danger right here, so my survival behaviors are unnecessary? And I drop survival behaviors. You're in survival mode to keep you. And as long as you stay in survival behaviors, you will stay in survival mode until you stop the behavior part first. Stop checking to see if you're safe. Make sure I get a seat away from the emergency exit door, just in case I lose control. Oh, I felt my hand move. I think it went toward the handle. Was that me just about to jump out the plane and I controlled myself from happening it? Good thing I kept myself alive. That behavior is actually the problem, guys, not the thoughts, not the feeling. And I'm talking like this because this comes up all the time.
Yes, and I wanted to share a tip with you that you didn't mention, unfortunately, Michelle, but I got this from you and it is brilliant. So you guys, I think many of you know my roller coaster love-hate roller coaster story. So I love them, but I'm afraid of them. And my last ride gave me some PTSD about them. Anyway, so I was in that horrible roller coaster, which goes up like this for, I don't know, 10 minutes and then it just drops down. And I didn't want to go into that. I kind of was forced onto it, which is not good. So any exposure that you do, like do it voluntarily, not like I did. So I did. And as soon as this thing started, this guy came up and he was like, what the hell are you doing? What are you thinking? Get off, get off, get off. And he was screaming, get off, but already started. And then I remember what Michelle said. She said, well, you don't want to get off right now, really.
You actually don't want to get off. Okay, so you don't want to get off the plane.
And I told her, I was like, well, we really don't want to get off. And he was like, oh, right. That was so helpful. Honestly, I know that the goal is not, to get rid of your anxiety, but he got rid of my anxiety really fast. I was like, oh, true. I'm actually more safe here. All right, let's do it then. Right. So remember that you are more safe where you are than being out there. That is true for planes and roller coasters and I don't know what not, ski lifts. Well, ski lift is another thing. And that I think it's more the part of what if I lose control, right? That triggers that thought. What if I open the door? What if the anxiety gets so intense and my head will explode and I will lose control over my senses, open the door and jump and kill myself? So, and this is, I talked about it in my Dear Advance call yesterday. Usually people, they see the symptoms and specific thoughts and talk about them, but really those are all just like leaves and branches of a tree. There's always a core fear to something. And in that case, my bet is I'm afraid of losing control, going crazy, having a psychosis, but all those same things. So if you want to move into a state of allowance really fast, try to look at the core fear behind all of that and address that, diffuse that. You know what? Okay, then let's go crazy on the plane. There's no better place than on a plane to go crazy. Awesome, fantastic. Let's have it done. Right? Drop that control right there, as opposed to trying to peel layers of the onion, if you know what I mean. No, I won't go crazy. I won't open the door. Definitely not. No, I won't get up and start to stab people, blah, 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 all these things. What is your core fear? Losing control. Address that directly. And you can address that in many other situations too. The plane is really just another situation, right?
Yeah,
I'm
sure
sure
it's the fight of unfightable things. I haven't lost control yet, but I don't want to lose control. So better control now so I can fight now to prevent me losing control. Yeah. But even though if I ever lost control, it's out of my control. And so like what happens is we grasp to try and find a semblance of control. And we're really just kind of bullshitting ourselves. Like, well, I don't want to go crazy. Oh, you think crazy people were like, oh, I should have held on more. Or oh, I should have dared and not had a heart attack. Like we think we're going to do something to prevent an idea of something bad happening. And all that does, it's not the story. It's not the idea of something bad happening. That's the problem. So if you're still focused on that, you're focused on the wrong thing if you're using dare. Dare is to focus on this part of you. The story is just the story. That's why that whack-a-mole idea, your alarm's going to just send you energy to fight all other shitty stories you don't want to happen. And it's present fight denotes present danger. So if I'm involved in present fight, I'm going to keep the anxiety pumping and keep feeling like I've survived rather than there's nothing survivable happening right now. You're like in pre-survival mode thinking I can ward off danger that doesn't even exist. So it's just be on the plane when that feeling of trapped feeling comes up. Yup, that's what my alarm feels like when it's sending me the message to get the hell out. Let's look around. If the plane is having an actual emergency that you have to jump out of the plane, like if you had to actually flee the plane for a plane danger, you would. And you would not be thinking so much about it. You would not give two shits about how you felt. And that's why, like I've been this past week on my calls, so guys, tell me if this rings true. If any of you have ever been in actual danger, and if you can clearly remember being in danger, you probably noticed being less scared than you were in the midst of a full-blown panic attack, right? Like being in danger is weirdly less scary than being in fear. Would you guys agree? Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yes. Europe. It's weird, right? Because fear shows up. It's supposed to be in the background to help propel you to fight danger. The focus and the lock is on present danger. When there's no present danger, we focus and lock on fear. And now fear becomes the danger. And so fear, being in fear always weirdly feels scarier than danger, even though you have the same amount of fear pumping. But if this has a natural place to go, there's no place for this to go. So you're kind of just stuck with it for a while. And again, you melt into that natural state of rest and digest mode. I'm only saying rest and digest a lot lately because some people were messaging me saying, you never talk about that. You never talk about rest and digest. How do we get there? Like, you accidentally get there. You get there. Let's say I tried to put this, I can't find this in Canva, like a bird flapping their wings. And let's say they were on the ground and they flapped their wings and now they're off the ground. And they're like, oh my God, I'm off the ground. How do I get back to the ground? Oh my God, I gotta get back to the ground. What do I do to get back to the ground? I gotta flap my way back to the ground. The flapping is what's keeping them off the ground. Stop flapping and you come back down to the state you're desperately trying to get to. You got to drop the trying first and you kind of accidentally then get to that acceptance state.
I love this analogy. Find the bird.
Yeah. Are you flapping are you trying to accept it? I'm trying to come back down as opposed to stop flapping, come back down.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, we're way over time. Final word. This guy, all the trouble, Michelle said it beautifully the last time, you have a relationship problem, right? This guy is not the problem. You must fix this relationship. You must not fix him, fix your relationship.
Yeah. And communication problem, right?
Yes.
How you're communicating to your communication back to your alarm is sending a message of danger. So he's going to keep sending you fear because you keep sending a message of danger. Send him a message of safety.
Exactly. And how do you do that? By stop doing that and saying, all right, come on. Right. And then you go and live your life. And yes, he will still be there and will be present and will keep warning you. And when you go through phases of high sensitization, this guy will be on steroids. It won't give you a break. Like 20 Red Bulls and that chit chat the way all the time. But that doesn't matter. Just because he gets really loud or really intense, he's not getting any bigger. Okay. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to mention about roller coaster is what I also wanted to say. Roller coaster. Imagine me up there, and I've posted a photo. There's a photo somewhere out there on YouTube of me doing that. But you see, this guy said my fear level was 100%. It couldn't have gotten any higher. But what was I in a dangerous situation? Of course not. Meaning fear was 100%. But danger was still 0. And this is the same is true for you lying in bed, having intrusive thoughts about freezing cats, right? That's me. So fear level, fear level, 100%. Danger level is still 0, right? I think it's, if you just keep just that in mind, oh, hold on a second. Yes, I can feel 100% fear and still be in 0 danger. That is the fastest way for you to take this guy, put it on your shoulder and walk your way.
Yeah. You only look for danger level. We're too busy looking at fear level, doing something about fear. Fear is like an indirect thing that happens when you're attending to danger or not attending to danger. So but it feels like danger. It could become danger. What if it's danger? This reminds me of danger. Is not danger. The tree could fall on me is different than, oh my gosh, the tree's falling on me right now. That's danger. The other stuff is not. So you do not need to attend to fear. You attend to danger. And fear may or may not show up. Sad may not show up. Anxiety may or may not show up. Not attendable. Noticeable, but not actionable. Attend to life stuff.
And that is why Michelle has created, I don't know if you guys have already seen it. If not, make sure to check out her Instagram and the Dare pages. She has created wonderful Dare t-shirts, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I want one that says, who is on fire? question mark. Why do I want that? Because that's really the only question you ever need to ask yourself. I feel a certain way, right? I feel fear. Is someone or something on fire? No, then move on, right? Yeah. Ignore it. So if you want your own Dare shirt, and you have different slogans, Michelle, right? Can we submit? Oh, yeah. Can we have special ones?
I think so. I create them, and I'm not the best at technology. I could probably create them, but yeah, I could, if there's enough, like, I think I have to see if Barry wants us to do the Ofa King one, but somebody wants the Ofa King. But like, yeah, they're going on the Dare website, dareresponse.com, and under products and under merchandise, you can see somebody wanted them as like baseball caps and somebody wanted a long sleeve shirt. I think I just need to check a few boxes and it adds other suggestions. But my ultimate goal, I don't care if you buy it from, we're not making much money off of Dare merchandise because it's another company that's doing it. But my bigger goal is to see like awareness spread, to see like, yeah, here's anxiety, but this is how I treat anxiety and I'm bringing it along with me. And as I go out and here I am at the bridge with my shirt on, make them yourself, use a marker, make your own shirt, but to show like, as I go, this is kind of serves as like a reminder of like, I'm going to bring my feelings with me, but I'm still in charge of my actions and behaviors.
You guys, we're not making them ourselves. We want Michelle to actually sign them. Right?
That would be a fun prize, right? Like have a shirt signed by Barry, right?
All right.
Oh, sorry. And AF, this has come up a few times. It's kind of earmuffs. It's the inappropriate Dare shirt. It says anxious AF. And underneath it says, but doing it anyway. And AF means as fuck. So if you don't find that one appropriate, which many people do not, there are other ones. There's She Who Dares, He Who Dares. There's one with just the Dare logo. There is one that says, Do You Dare? And that's just the beginning. There's plenty more coming. Just kind of like a fun way, but sort of a motivational way that you don't need to calm down. I can do it scared. Those are coming soon too.
And we should, you know what? We should make these little anxiety monsters for sale.
Yeah, little plush guys.
That would be great, right? And I have different ones, by the way, you guys. This is the DP one.
Oh, he's cute.
And this is my crazy thoughts one, right? What if? These are awesome.
Who's that guy?
I haven't decided yet. What do you think? Well, who is he? He could be
a little health anxiety-ish.
Health anxiety.
Looks a little green. Looks a little health anxiety.
Nausea bug.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Awesome.
All right. And somebody asked about Dare Advanced on there. It's set up like this. Like we run multiple calls a month. I run some, Aida runs some, Barry runs one of them. It's a small Facebook group. It also includes access to the app. It includes the premium version of this app, and it's, I believe, $30 a month. You can find that on the website. Same thing under products. It's called Dare Advance. It's basically a monthly coaching program where we do like this, but everybody comes in on Zoom.
Yeah, people there, and you get to see and to talk to other people. So it's not just,
it's much more interactive.
Only us. Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Michelle.
All right, guys. Bye. Bye. Take care, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Dare podcast. The Dare app has over 1 million downloads and is helping people all around the world to overcome anxiety and panic attacks. You can download the app for free at dareresponse.com.